So I was going to start with how absolutely insane the NFL was in Week 5 yesterday on Sunday. Just the ridiculous offensive performances that came through in many, many games. And we're going to get to that hopefully at the very end of this. But there's two things we have to touch on before we do that. Number one, just less than an hour ago, it's now 6:46 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday, October 7th. Less than an hour ago, you have your first firing in the NFL this season of a head coach. And that's none other than the other Gruden. Not John, but Jay Gruden. Fired as the head coach of the Washington Redskins. He's got that, irreplaceable, unmistakable voice, just like his brother John. And he's been let go as the head coach of the Washington Redskins. They are battling the Miami Dolphins for worst team in the NFL. There are some really bad teams in the NFL. The team that I root for, the New York Jets, thanks to Sam Darnold still dealing with mono and mono-like symptoms, and an enlarged spleen, still hasn't gotten on the field since Week 1. And the Redskins are absolutely terrible. They don't know which quarterback they're going to play week to week, whether it's Colt McCoy, whether it's Case Keenum, whether it's Dwayne Haskins. Their defense is atrocious. They lost their running back. They have no receivers to really speak of. The Redskins don't even have any fans left. I mean, it's like every home game is really like a home game for the opposing team. There's more Patriot fans than there are Redskins fans to begin with. So it's an absolute joke, and I think it's 5 weeks too late in terms of the Redskins firing Jay Gruden, but Jay Gruden is gone. Now, the irony and the funny part of this is that after the loss yesterday, the blowout loss to the Patriots, Jay Gruden was asked about his job security. He says, well, I'm not worried about that. I'm just going to keep showing up week to week to week and worry about the team that I got to play next week. He says, I'll show up on Monday and see if my key card is going to work to get into the building. Well, he'll kill all the suspense. Pretty positive. Your key card will not be working. You can hand that bad boy over, and you are no longer a head coach in the NFL. Again, I think it's 5 weeks too late. I think he should have never started the season as the coach, but now we'll see if Dwayne Haskins gets to take the field as the quarterback for the Washington Redskins. Only time will tell. Good morning, everyone. I am Dave Ettinger, the host of the Dave Talk Sports podcast. I work at CBS Sports Radio Network, and you join me every single morning on the way home from New York City to my home on Long Island. So, the second story, I told you there's two things I needed to get to. This is not a laughing matter, all right? People can make jokes about it, but we all know how dangerous and violent the NFL is. And Mason Rudolph, if you haven't seen the play, I will be tweeting out a replay of his injury, getting clocked in the head, helmet to helmet. It looked just like a boxer getting hit right on the button, but with the helmet, and getting knocked immediately unconscious. Now, again, it's not a laughing matter at all, but it becomes a ridiculous scene when the cart breaks down in Pittsburgh trying to get this man off the field. I mean, an absolute joke from the NFL and from Pittsburgh. Just unbelievable that Mason Rudolph, they had already removed the mouth guard and part of the helmet. They literally remove it when you have a head injury. They get you on the stiff board and they get you on a stretcher, or they get you on a cart and they get you into the locker room and then they get you to a hospital. Mason Rudolph physically walked off the field after clearly having a concussion, but was unconscious without movement. His teammates were crying and worried for his health and his safety, and this guy is walking off the field. What a terrible, terrible look for the league and for Pittsburgh. Just awful, awful, awful. We do not have much time left today, but an unbelievable performance from many in the fantasy football world. 3 men outside of quarterbacks went over 200 yards from scrimmage yesterday. Christian McCaffrey, almost 240 yards from scrimmage and 3 touchdowns. Will Fuller, This guy, when he's healthy, is very, very good. A second receiver to DeAndre Hopkins in Houston, going 217 yards and 3 touchdowns, I believe. And also Amari Cooper with a touchdown and 11 receptions and also 217 yards. And not to count DJ Chark, discount DJ Chark, Michael Thomas, Adam Thielen, all the guys who had multiple touchdowns yesterday, Josh Jacobs in Oakland. The list goes on and on and on and on. Deshaun Watson throwing for 5 touchdowns. Just a ridiculous day in the NFL, Week 5. So, this has been another episode of the Dave Talk Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Ettinger. And until tomorrow, enjoy your Monday with 4 baseball games and Monday Night Football coming at you. Until then, enjoy your day. See ya.